It's a classic situation where you don't know how to feel. So you go it alone. You turn off the phone when the struggle gets too real. Yeah. Girl, you better listen. It's time to make a change. You talk about lonely. You talk about scared. I think you're thinking that nobody cares. Well, you know it ain't over, but where to begin? You gotta play if you wanna win. So when you gonna let somebody in? Yeah, let 'em in. You talk about lonely, you talk about scared. I think you're thinking that nobody cares. Well, you know it ain't over, but where to begin? You gotta play if you wanna win.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Happy Sunday, happy Sunday. Welcome to the Unpacking the Baggage podcast. I seem like we gotta get in the picture, Tristan. Welcome to the Unpacking the Baggage podcast. I'm your host, B Level, and I cannot start and do this podcast without giving a hell of a shout out to my guy, my co-host today, Mr. Tristan Hobbs. Now today we got a special show going on. I before we start the show, I got to pay a couple of bills. I'll tell you about our sponsors. We are looking for sponsors to sponsor the Unpacking the Baggage podcast. I tell you, we've had so much success, so many streams. If you are a local owner of a business and you want to promote your products, you want to promote your business, I tell you what you need to do. Send an email to unpacking. Hey, what up, Chris? Send an email to unpackingthebaggagepodcastlr@gmail.com. Okay, that email address is very long. Unpackingthebaggagepodcastlr@gmail.com. Or you can just inbox myself, Brian Stewart, on Facebook, or email the UTB podcast Facebook page, okay? U as in unpacking, T, the B, for baggage podcast, UTB podcast on Facebook. Okay, you can inbox that, or you could inbox myself at Brian Stewart if you want to be a part of the sponsorship. Okay, all right. So we are still in looking for co-hosts. Okay, so I lost my page last week, so I had about 17 applicants who wanted to be a podcast co-host. So if you're one of those 17 people that inbox the UTB podcast Facebook, I need you to send that back. Why we should choose you. What up, Tam? Why we should choose you to be the co-host. We are still looking for a co-host. We are in a search for somebody. I put the qualifications on my page, but if you think that is you, I am looking for you. Okay. Now I need you guys, as always, to share my live. If you're on here, these 82 viewers, if you are, do me one huge favor. I need these 82 people to share this live and then put in the comments shared so that we shout you out, okay? I need everybody, all 82 viewers, to share this and then put in the comment sector that you have shared it, okay? And I'll know that you shared it because the viewers will go up, okay? I need everybody to do me that one huge favor. Now, today we are talking about sexual assault, okay? And this issue has really been plaguing our community. That's Tristan that shared. I'm about to say thank you, Tristan. This has really been plaguing our community, sexual assault. And last week, Facebook was, thank you. Okay. We're going to share. We're going to put everybody on here that said shared. Okay. Last week, there was a case that was really trending on social media that had a lot to do with sexual assault, okay? And we're going to talk to that young lady today. Her name is Bria Davis, and if you guys are unfamiliar with her, go to TikTok, and she shared a sexual assault situation between her and our biological father. And today we're going to have some conversation with, okay? Before we start, Tristan, you want to go ahead and shout everybody out that has shared it, because I said that I was going to shout them out. Yep, yeah, I think it's on. Go ahead. We can hear you. You can't hear yourself in your mic, your headphones? That's why. Now, can you hear yourself now?
Okay. Hey, Mimi, Kalina, Alicia, Patricia, Maquita, Chris, Raisha, Brittany. Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Hey, Tam. Thank you, Lauren.
Carlita Phillips, Danielle Hooks.
Ricky,
Yeah.
Mimi,
Yeah.
Miss Barnett,
Yeah.
Lauren,
Yeah.
Janae,
Yeah.
Ashley.
Yep. Come on, keep sharing it. Keep sharing it. Keep sharing it. We're going to try to keep shouting you out. We're going to take a few
Hey,
minutes.
Misha. Y'all
Please.
share this live.
Yes, share the live. Thank you, Chris. I see you say Don, Brittany, Nicholson. Welcome. Ashley shared. Please, I need everybody to share this live. Okay, once you share it, put in the comments that you shared it so that we can shout you out. Let me see.
Thank you, Red.
Okay, Red. Okay. All right. So keep continuing to share it. And thank you, Angela, that we can get the viewerships up, because this episode is so important when we're talking about sexual assault. Okay. So let me go ahead and preference what we're doing today. Okay. We're actually, typically our podcast is live. 9 times out of 10, most of our guests are live, which means they come on. This show is live. It's not recorded, but they normally come on with us, okay? When I talk in conversations with Bria, she was a little uncomfortable with coming on, being live, letting people comment on it. She was a little nervous of telling it live. So what we decided to do was we recorded an interview that she actually tells her story, okay? Now, this interview is about 30 minutes long. So what I am going to do is I'm going to play half of the interview, okay? And it's very important. You need to make sure that people that come on after the interview start, if they are confused who this interview is with, I've posted that into the, not the comments, into the post. And then you guys can let them know that we're talking to Bria Davis, who earlier part of this week broke a story on TikTok where she basically told her story about being assaulted by her dad. Okay. All right. So I'm going to preference this by saying, and every time that we do a podcast, I always tell the rules of just being 100. All right. So I'm going to say that before I play this, we have a responsibility to let you guys know that this is allegedly. This is from her point of view. And so in all fairness to the dad, and all fairness to all party, I want to make sure that you guys know that in my conversations with her, I allowed her to share her story from her perspective. Okay. This is not the views of the Unpacking the Baggage podcast. This is the views of Bria Davis. And so I need to state that right up front that, people are innocent until proven guilty. And I need to be honest and share that with you before I play this interview. Okay. Let's go ahead and finish reading some more of these shares before we go on.
Thank you, Candy. Thank you, Tiffany. Misha, thank you for the share. Neray, Brittany.
Shannon. Yep. Carlisha. Tiffany. LaFonda. Candy Webb, I see you. Cassandra Allen. Near Avenue. Brittany Nicole, we'll do it again.
Thank you, Janae. Ashley.
Yeah. Yeah, and I see Raquel said,
Hey, Tori.
you need to be under jail. Fuck him. So, and here's the other thing. I understand the sensitivities, right? You guys can feel how you want to feel about it. I cannot stop you from feeling how you want to feel. As a podcast, as a platform, we do have to say that all of this is allegedly, because we wasn't there with Bria. I totally get her story. I totally believe her. But at the end of the day, it's not my job to say whether it's the truth or whether it's false. Okay, so I want to say that at the beginning. However, I needed to say that at the beginning. Okay, so I'm going to start this off, and like I said, continue to share this. I'm going to start this interview off here, and I'm going to play it here. And then we will come back after about 15, 20 minutes of letting you hear this. Here's the interview from myself with Bria Davis. Okay, good evening. This is B Level. I am having an on-phone interview with Bria Davis.
Let me know if you guys can
a
hear
lot of you
that.
guys
Give me the
have
thumbs up if you guys can
understood and
hear it.
followed her story. She has been trending the majority of the week because she went on her TikTok page to actually tell about some sexual abuse that she was going through with her father. Good. Thank you, Bria, for agreeing to talk with me. I know that you wasn't comfortable with coming on the podcast and doing it live, but I want to thank you for telling your story and giving me an opportunity to highlight some of the things that you went through, and hopefully through our interview today or tonight, something can be said to other females, to other males who have went through the sexual abuse issues, and hopefully you will give them the courage to come out and speak their truth. So I want to say thank you, first of all, before we talk about what happened with you, for agreeing to do this, okay? Secondly, I want to make sure that you understand that we are recording this interview and that you give consent for us to record it for the purpose of the Unpacking the Baggage podcast.
Yes, I definitely give consent.
Okay.
And thank you for trying to spread awareness of my story.
Okay. First of all, state your name.
My name is Bria Davis.
Okay. And Bria, how old are you now?
I'm 20 years old.
Okay, you're 20 years old. Okay. For the sake of time, I just want to jump right on in and allow you the space to start talking about what happened with you as it relates to the sexual assault that happened with your dad. You are allowed, to, if you want to, I've just said I've referred to him as your dad. I haven't said his name, anything. If you want to say his name, I'll give you the freedom to do whatever you're comfortable with. I won't mention his name. I'll refer to him as your dad. If you want to call him by name, by all means, you do so. But why don't you start by just talking about how many siblings do you have? How many brothers and sisters do you have from your dad?
From my dad, I have, let me count because it's a lot. I have 2 sisters and 3 brothers, but one of my brothers passed away.
Okay, so 2 sisters, 3 brothers. So your dad has 6 kids, basically?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And growing up, were you in the house with your dad? Did you live with your dad or did you live with your mom?
So when I was younger, around, like my baby ages or whatever, I was with him. And then maybe when I think I was 4 years old, my mom came one day. She had been in my life during that time, and then she came one day and she just came and got me and moved me to Houston. So I think I was in Houston for maybe 5 years. I lived there for 5 years, and then when I was 10, I came back to live with my dad.
Okay, so from the age of newborn to 4, you lived with your dad.
Yes.
From about 4 when your mom came to get you until about 10. So for 6 years you lived with your mom in Houston, and then at the age of 10 you came back. And I'm assuming that you lived here in Little Rock with your dad, correct?
Yeah, I lived in Little Rock.
Okay. Were there other siblings in the house raised with you? Were you by yourself, the only kid there, or how was that? How was the house structure made up?
When I was, I think I'm the firstborn. I'm the firstborn child. So
you're the oldest.
I was by myself for a little bit, and then he had my first brother. I was around him, helping take care of him and stuff, and then he had my other brother. I can't remember how old I was when he was born. And my other brother came around, and then my sisters followed after that.
And so outside of just the incident of sexual assault that happened, how was it growing up in the house with him? How was every other aspect of your life? How was that?
I'm not gonna lie. I was a tough cookie. So for the most part, it wasn't as bad. I would do stuff to put myself in bad predicaments, like get myself in trouble and stuff like that. So, of course, we would still, go out, do fun stuff, go to the movies, go swim and stuff like that. It was fun for the most part.
Yes.
I would say it was fun for the most part, but I was in trouble a lot.
And you feel like when you say in trouble, were you getting in trouble at school? Were you just household
yeah,
issues? Okay.
I would get in trouble at school a lot. I think I was just
Did a lot of fighting?
No, not fighting. No, not fighting.
Just behavior problems.
Yeah, just doing, being a class clown, being smart to my teachers and stuff like that.
Yeah. And so, you said that you were the oldest. Your responsibility was to help to raise the other siblings that you had. It was basically the average household growing up. You had fun. Let's talk about when and how the sexual abuse started, and I'll allow you to just basically tell how it started, when it started. Were you by yourself? So I want you to go ahead and start talking about how initially the first time, how old you were the first time you were sexually assaulted.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll just start by how I started. So, I used to, I don't know, I can't really tell you why I would talk sexually or just post sexual stuff like that, when I was younger. But it started when I was in 7th grade. I don't know the exact age. My mom's bad. I got a baby. I got a really bad brain. Okay. But
that's cool.
It started in the 7th grade. Around that time is when I would stay in trouble for talking sexually to boys or doing what typical girls do, posting twerk videos, stuff like that. And I remember he actually made me go to a mental facility because I was doing all that. He didn't know what to do, so he made me go to a mental facility. And then afterwards, I was still doing the same thing. So I guess he just didn't know what to do. I don't know. But I remember one particular day, I was at home. It was just me and him. We were at home, and he was like, come on, let's go to the gun range. So we went to the gun range. Went to the gun range, and I shot his gun or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then when we got out the car, or when we left the gun range, we got in the car, and we was having a conversation about the stuff that I would post and all that type of stuff. And we were trying to find solutions or, talk about what could help me not talk sexually, not post things that I'm not supposed to, and post and stuff like that. And he mentioned, that he felt like it would be sufficient for me to pleasure myself. And so he said that he wanted to teach me how to do it, whatever. And I agreed to it because, for one, I really didn't comprehend. I really just know what that meant at that time. I'm only in 7th grade. But I agreed to it. So after we had the conversation or whatever, I went to my aunt's house, showed them the little, I don't know what it's called, the little picture that you shoot when you go to the gun range. Do you know what I'm talking about? The
target, the gun range target.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I showed them that, whatever, and then we went home. They went home and he told me, take a shower, and when you come out, get out the shower, come in here, we gonna do whatever we do, and then you can go to sleep wherever. Okay, so I took a shower, and then after I got out the shower, I was just thinking about it when I got in the shower, and I was like, I just don't feel like I just want to do this. So I just told him I don't want to do it anymore when I got out the shower, and he was like, come on, let's just get it over with, because this is the only opportunity to do this. So I'm like, okay. So I sit down in front of him. I didn't have any clothes on. I sit down in front of him. He cut the TV off. He made me cut the bathroom light off after I came out the bathroom. All the lights were off, and I sat in front of him with my legs open, and he put his hand down there, and he was like, so when you do it, you need to do this. And he was going up and down, up and down. He was like, you need to do this. And I was like, okay. And he was talking to me, but in that moment, I really just wasn't listening to what he was saying. I was just ready for it to be over. So he was talking. I can't tell you word for word what he was telling me. It was just more the lines of, this is what you need to do, and it was that. And then afterwards, I got up, went in my room, went to sleep, and after that, nothing else happened after that. But then when we moved, I don't know what, I think it was maybe like a couple months after we moved into a new house, which is the current place that he stays right now. We moved, and that's when he started checking me. Now, we never had a conversation about starting this. It was never just something that we just agreed to do. It was just something that just kind of happened. But basically, he knew I've always been insecure about myself. I'm dark-skinned. I have a shape, so, I was insecure about myself. So I would tell him, or basically talking to him about my insecurities, or talking to him about the stuff that I would post, stuff would get me out of trouble. So of course, let's talk about it. Let's have all the conversations in the world, because I don't want to be in trouble. Who wants to sit up on punishment and all that? So we would have those conversations. Every time I get in trouble, we would have those conversations and all that. And he started checking me. And basically checking me was because he knew that I was insecure about my private area, wondering if it had a smell or if it had a bad taste and all that type of stuff. Because the stuff I was seeing on social media, I probably shouldn't have been thinking about stuff like this at that age. But, you know, we have social media and social media puts everything out there. So I was just feeling like I needed to have a certain smell, a certain taste, whatever. So he knew that. So he would start checking me, and basically he would just put his finger in, rub it or roll it around, or go in and out, and then he'll smell it. He'll tell me, "Oh, it don't smell like nothing," or "You need to take a shower. You need to do this when you take a shower," stuff like that. And so it just became kind of a normal thing. Not normal, but it just became like a routine. Like if I take a shower and my stepmom wasn't there, if he seen me get out the shower, he'll come on, let me check real quick, or come in my room real quick. Sometimes he'll text me or come here, and then he'll tell me leave my phone outside and all that type of stuff, and he'll tell me lay on the bed, he'll check me and give me a smell or to see if I had a smell. And sometimes he would try to talk to me while he was doing it. Sometimes it'll just be me standing up, he'll check real quick, and then I'll go on in my room.
And when you say talk to you, what would he be talking to you, saying while he was doing the checks? What would he be saying?
Sometimes it would just be regular conversation. Let me see. Did you do what I told you to do? Or he'll tell me like, go outside and cut the grass or something, or do something that's revolving, you know, just cleaning up or doing something like that. And did you do what I told you to do? Da, 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 da. You know, just simple stuff like that. Sometimes it'll be, you need to do this and this, or you need to start drinking more water, eating more fruit. He'll recommend fruit for me to eat. He'll buy me stuff like oil, because I've always had razor bumps. So I just taught myself how to shave, so I never did it properly, so I have razor bumps. So sometimes he'll notice that I had razor bumps. He'll tell me like, oh, you need to do this, and you need to try to use these razors, or you need to eat this type of fruit. He'll buy me certain oils to put on myself, to use, and all that type of stuff.
So basically the conversation was basically just to take your mind off the fact that he was going through these checks.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and continue. So you said he would just periodically do that. How often would the checks happen? Would they happen once a month, once a year, once a week?
Sometimes it could be, it really just depends on how the people in the house were. If my siblings and stuff were up when I got out the shower, then I know that I'm not going to get checked because everybody's up. You can't do it while everybody up. But if everybody's asleep or his wife just decides she wants to step out, it'll be, come on. Or if she gets in the shower real quick and the kids are asleep, he'll tell me, or he'll come back to my room and do it. It was like sometimes every other day, sometimes every other week. It just depends on how the house environment was.
And so this happened from the age of 12, right? This is kind of started when you remember you was around 12. How long did the checks happen? How old were you when you realized that him checking you stopped?
The last time that it happened was when I was 18.
Okay.
It was 2 months before I went to college.
Okay, so from 12 to 18. So for 6 years, the first sexual assault encounter, he was actually showing you how to pleasure yourself, and that only happened once, correct?
Yes, that only happened once, and then the checking started after that.
Okay. And then the checking after that started about 2 or 3 months after you moved into the new home up until you were 18, 2 months before you went to college, correct?
Yes.
Okay, were there any other incident of sexual assault or any appropriate behavior with him?
He, well, the last time that it happened was June 13th, 2022. I was getting ready I had on a black dress, and if you need me to send like the pictures and stuff, I can send it to you, but I had on a black dress. I was getting ready to drop my sister off at Cheer Package, and I also had to take my other sister to the mall for her birthday. My mom had texted me. This was around the time that me and my mom had kind of sort of started talking again. So she just randomly texted me and told me that she wanted me to take them to the mall. So she told me to meet her at my papa's house. So before I left, I was getting ready to leave. Before I left, he called me in his room. He told me to lay on the bed. Now, I think maybe like a week before this, we had a conversation about me feeling like I was going to have a bad taste whenever I was to actually, go out and have sex and do that type of stuff. I feel like I wasn't going to have a good taste. So he called me in his room. He told me to lay on the bed. I laid on the bed, and he started checking me. It was maybe for like 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay.
But he had the TV on, so I was just listening. I was watching TV, trying to distract myself from it or whatever. And I looked down, I just seen that he took a long breath. He was like, and then out of nowhere, he just licked me. And I just jumped. I pushed his head off me, and I jumped, and then I stood up, and I pulled my clothes back up, and then I stood there, and he was like, it don't taste like nothing. And then he said something else after that, but I kind of tuned it out. Because I was in shock, like, what are you doing? I didn't even know what was going on. So I was in shock. And then I remember the last thing he said before I walked out was, I just hope you can forgive me. And so I grabbed my keys, I told my sister to come on, and I left. And I tried to call my stepmom after it, but she didn't answer the phone. At the time, him and my stepmom had an argument. I don't know if they were into or they were arguing. I don't know what was going on, but they weren't speaking to each other. And sometimes when they weren't speaking, he would make me call her to tell her, like, oh, pick up the kids from practice or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I called her. She didn't answer the phone. I'm like, okay, whatever. So then I drop my sister off. I go with my mom and my other sister, take her to the mall. And then afterwards, or on the way to the mall, he calls me. And I tried to answer it, but as soon as I answered, he hung up. Then afterwards, I was like, well, did you mean to call me? And he was like, I did, but you wouldn't have been able to understand anything that I was saying, but just know that I love you. And I said, I love you too. And then that was it. Then on the way to the mall, he called me again. He was like, I don't want to say her name, so I'm just like, call your stepmom and see, or let her know that she got to come get my little sister because he had to go to football practice this day. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, I'll call her again. She still didn't answer the phone. So I went to the mall, handled everything I need to handle with my sister, and then I thought about, like, I don't want to go home after that. So I texted him and asked him, could I spend the night with my cousin? He said yes. So I went home, got some clothes, and I left. After that, we didn't really talk. But at the time, he had my Life 360. So he was, do you know what Life 360 is?
Yes. It tells people where you are at all times.
Yeah, he had my Life 360. So I guess he was watching me as I was on the way to my auntie's house. So when I got there, I just sat outside and I was crying. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I should tell somebody. I was just trying to process what happened during the day or whatever. And he called me again. He was like, what are you doing? I was like, nothing, just sitting in my car. And he was like, oh, what you doing, crying? I said, yeah. And he was like, oh, stop crying and go in the house. I said, okay. So then after that, I went in the house. Then the next day, he texted me. He was like, what type of car do you want for graduation? And he said he was planning on getting me a Jeep or something like that. And that was the last conversation we ever had about that.
Did you tell your aunt or anybody in the house when you went in, when you were sitting in the car and you was wondering what you should do? Did you tell anybody about the event that had just happened?
No, and the only reason everybody's been asking me, like, oh, why you haven't spoke up before? And the reason why is because my dad, I don't know if he's just like this. You know, your family has favorites. Some families have favorites. He's like the favorite. So whenever something happens, even when he would, hit me or certain things like that, they would defend him or make excuses for him. So I just didn't want to deal with everybody making excuses like, oh, he only did that because,
Right.
So I just didn't say nothing at all.
So, was the first time that you told anybody was when you posted on your TikTok story? Was that the first time you shared that with anybody?
No. During the time I was talking to my child's father, so I told him what happened. And he, tried to encourage me. We need to speak up, but I just didn't want to do that. And my dad was my only parent for so long. I never wanted to see anything bad happen to him. I never wanted him to go to jail or anything like that. So I just didn't see myself ever speaking up about it. So I didn't say nothing.
When did you disclose this to your child's father? How old were you when you first told your child's father?
I was 18. It was the exact day that it happened.
Okay. Did you, after the last time when you were saying you were 18, the last time it happened when he actually licked you, that you go back to the house? Did you you said 2 weeks you were going to school, right? So you went off to college, correct?
2 months before I went to school, yes. So I did. I stayed there, and I found I had 2 jobs at the time, so I was just working, so I wasn't really at home. And then after that, it was like everything changed. She kind of got, I wouldn't say really mean, but we sort of didn't have the that was on good terms. Sometimes he'll just randomly have attitude for me for no reason or, stuff like that. So we didn't really talk or anything like that because I was always at work. And if I was at home, it was like a more of a kind of like an attitude thing that was going on. I would have an attitude with him, and he would have one with me. We wouldn't really talk. And if we did talk, it would only last for maybe like a week or so. Then we right back with attitudes with each other.
Okay, so this is the halfway point. So for those of you guys who are just tuning in, I am having a phone conversation with Bria Davis, who earlier part of this week, she shared on a TikTok story that she was sexually assaulted numerous times by her father. He would do checks on her where he basically fondled her, and he basically said that he was showing her how to please herself, all right? I wanted to stop real quick and try to take a couple of comments before I get into the second half part. I need you guys to do me one favor. I've got almost 300 people on here. If you are coming on and you have not shared this live, I need you to do me a really huge favor and share this live, and then put shared in the comments so we can shout you out. I am going to shout you out if you share this live. Please share the comment. There are some people that came on after we started. So if you just came on, please share the live and put shared in the comment so we can shout you out. Tristan, you want to start trying to figure out some of these comments?
Thank you, Carla. And we got LaShawn, thank you. We got Shalita, thank you. LaShawn, Adriana, Miss Brownskin, hey, how you doing? Miss Robin, thank you. Miss Robin Knight.
Yep. I see Robin. And let me go back up from Misha Hall. Misha Hall said, sad and sick as fuck. Nicole Campbell said, talking to you in attempt to distract you. I guess she's talking about why he was talking to her. Maisha Hall is saying a goddamn monster. Misha Raquel is saying poor baby. Miss Brown Skin, what's up, B? Tristan, Adrian is saying Jesus.
Thank you, Pinky. Hey, Pinky, how you doing?
Yeah. LaShawn
India.
Williams. Yeah, LaShawn Williams is tagging somebody. Let me read all the comments here. So you've read it. Okay, so you can go ahead and finish your share. That's where you catch up. I'm gonna give it back to you on your share.
Shout out to Kevin. Shout out to Jasmine. Tamika said this is sick and this is a sick mess. It is.
Yeah. So after we finish, I'm going to go ahead and play the second half. For those of you who have just coming on, Bria Davis, on her TikTok, I don't know her TikTok name, but she shared that she had been sexually assaulted by her father on numerous occasions. Now we're at the point where she's getting ready to go to college, and we're talking about when she actually shared with somebody that this was happening. Okay, so I'm going to start right here and finish this out. Okay. What was the deciding factor that made you finally decide to come out and post it on your TikTok story? What was the thing in your mind that made you say, I'm going to stop living through this by myself. I'm going to talk about it publicly. What made you do that?
So 3 weeks ago, I told my uncle. Now, I'm going to give you the whole story because I know that my family's going to try to use this. It won't stay here to podcast. Me and my dad, after everything happened, he blocked me. When I went to school, something happened with my baby's father, and I ended up going back to my baby's father, and my dad blocked me. He took my car, he blocked me. So we didn't talk after that. And then maybe like a couple months after that, I went and got a tattoo of my baby father's name, and my dad found out. He called me, cussed me out, told me I was dumb and stupid, talked real bad to me and all that. My feelings was so hurt. So I tried to speak up then. I tried to say something then. That was in 2022 as well. That was at the end of 2022. I tried to say something then, but it just went over everybody's head, I guess. He tried to come and, talk to me to, I guess, keep quiet. Mm-hmm. But after that, we ended up, I'm not going to say getting close. I forgot about it. He forgot about it. We ended up making up after he cussed me out and all that type of stuff. So I just left it alone. But ever since I've been with my child's father, he doesn't like my child's father. So he's been trying to get me to leave him and stuff like that. He's been saying like, oh, you need to leave him alone and all that type of stuff. The last conversation we had was Memorial Day, and on Memorial Day something had happened with one of my cousins, and I was texting my baby daddy to let him know what was going on. And my baby daddy didn't call because my baby was with my dad. Mind you, my baby daddy knows what happened to me. So he don't want any man to be left alone with my daughter or whatever. We already had that discussion. We agreed on it. I was okay with it because of what I went through. So I was letting him know what was going on, and the police ended up getting called, and he called me. He was like, well, where is and he asked where my baby was. And I was like, oh, she's at home, or she's with my family. And he was like, who all there? It's just her and your dad. I was like, no, it's my daddy, my auntie, all of them. And he was like, oh. He's like, I just thought you were just leaving her with people. And I'm like, no, it's not. I'm just not leaving her with people. It's my family. Okay. So then I went back and got my baby, and I told my stepmom. My stepmom went back and told my dad. And I don't know if she changed what I said. I don't know what happened, but he was already drunk, so I guess he was just mad about the situation. So he texts my baby dad. We get into it because he texts him. So then he blocked me then. We stopped talking. Then for the 4th of July, the 4th of July is my youngest brother's birthday. And they always have a big, party or whatever for the 4th of July.
Mm-hmm.
So and my little cousin, she just moved, she went to UAPB. So she was going to have a going away party for her going to college or whatever. So I was texting my cousin, and I was like, oh, yeah, me and my baby will be there. And she was like, oh, your dad said you can't come because you blocked him. And I'm like, what? He blocked me. But before this, he's blocked me twice before this. And he'll go around, when he blocked me, he'll go around, talk about me, talking bad about me. He just acts like I'm not his child. It's like I've been holding this secret, still trying to continue on with us having a relationship, even though in the back of my mind I know what happened. I'm still trying to hold on to our relationship, and you're treating me as if, like I don't mean anything to you. So my feelings were hurt. So I text my uncle. When I found out that he said I couldn't come, it was not because I couldn't come to the 4th of July. It's the principle of you treating me like this and you're acting as if I'm not your child. You talk about me, you blocking me, you doing all this, and you've already hurt me before. You've already done this, and I'm still trying to pursue a relationship with you, even though you've hurt me, and you're still continuing to move and act weird towards me. So my feelings were hurt. So I text my uncle. And I told him what happened. My uncle told me, he was like, he didn't say you need to. He said you should speak up and let somebody know, because you have other sisters living with him. So I was like, yeah, you're right. I took the fact that my other sisters, even though I don't feel like he would do anything to my other siblings, I took that into consideration, and I texted my stepmom. She didn't say anything to me. She didn't call me. She didn't text me. She just went.
She just left? You say she just did what?
The message that I sent her to my aunt.
Okay, the phone kind of went out a little bit. Just back up when you say you text your stepmom, and she did what?
She didn't text or call me or anything. She just sent the message that I sent her to my aunt.
Okay.
My aunt texted me.
And let me ask you, when you said you text her and you text his brother, you text them the incidents that happened with him taking checks and him telling you how to pleasure. Is that what you text to them?
Yeah, I text everything that happened from him started to the last time. I texted everything. I let him know everything.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure and be clear so the listeners will know what you text them. Okay, go ahead. And your stepmother didn't reply to it. She didn't call you. She just screenshotted that conversation and sent it to his sister, which is your aunt.
Yeah, she just sent it to my aunt. She didn't say nothing. You need me to come in? Yeah, we can.
We
sorry
only have
about
13 minutes left. We only have 13 minutes left for this
my aunt
interview.
texted me and asked me if I had something to tell her. I didn't want to talk to her because, like I said, they always defend him. They make excuses for him, etc. So I didn't want to have the conversation.
Right.
But I texted her back. I thought we ended up agreeing that we was going to meet up, have the conversation. Now, I was hesitant to talk to her because I feel like you're going to make excuses and do all this, so I don't want to talk to you. So I'm not going to say I was dragging my feet with it, but I kind of was. I was dragging my feet with having a conversation with her. So then they told my grandmother, basically, they just made me feel like they weren't on my side. They made me feel like what I was saying was a lie. They didn't take what I was saying into consideration. And then when I was having the conversation, they wasn't trying to figure out, oh, well, how long does it go on? They were asking, like, well, why did you wait? So why are you just now saying nothing? And then they bringing up the stuff that I used to go through when I used to get in trouble and stuff like that. So basically, it was just because I felt like I wasn't being heard, and I didn't feel like my feelings were being taken into consideration. And one night I was just up, and I was like, I seen another girl post her story. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? Let me just go ahead and say it because nobody's going to... I tried 3 weeks ago. For 3 weeks, nobody said nothing. Nobody was trying to get anything taken care of, nothing. It was just... I said something, everybody was mad because I said it, and it was that.
Okay. So there was some, from me knowing of the story, there was an incident that happened where he was charged with kind of messing or doing something to another young lady. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay. How old were you when he was actually charged with that incident? Because he was charged with that, correct?
Yeah, but they dropped the charges. They found him not guilty.
Okay, they found him not. How old were you when that happened?
It was around the same time.
Okay.
Well,
So it was around the same time that the situation was happening with you, and was that what all did you know about that issue? Did you hear? Did you know what was happening with this other young lady that was accusing him of inappropriate behavior? Do you know what happened? Do you know what she was saying that he did? Do you know anything about that situation or that case?
I've never seen him, and me and the girl used to talk. We used to be really close. She would tell me everything, stuff that was going on, her with her mom and all that. So I don't know exactly what happened. I was around every time that her and her siblings would come over. I was there with her and them, so I've never seen him do anything to her. She's never told me he did anything to her, so I don't know if it actually happened or not.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't know what the basis of that case was. I don't know if it was, she was around. What is she saying actually happened? Was she in the house? I don't really know much about.
Yeah, basically, she said that he raped her, like actually penetrated her. Now I don't know if that's true or not because again, I never seen nothing, and
Right.
she's never said nothing to me. But
Right.
that's what she said. But she did not say until after her and her mom, my dad and her mom fell out. They got into it. And then afterwards is when she said that, oh, he raped me and blah, 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 blah.
Right. Okay. So right now so you're not talking with your dad at this point right now. When is the last time you've talked to him?
I actually talked to him yesterday because he texted me. A lot of people were texting him when I posted. A lot of people were texting him and threatening him, and he said that I was going to get a lot of people hurt. So I texted him and I said, well, we could have just avoided this had you just told the family. Because, again, I told them 3 weeks ago. Nobody wanted to say anything. He was telling me I was lying and all that. Nobody said nothing. So I said that you could have just avoided this had you just told the family the truth. But instead you want to walk around and act like I have a mental illness or like something's wrong with me. And he was like, he said, what was it? The first message he sent to, so I can't tell you verbatim what it was. He said basically what I was doing, because I told him that I forgive him and I love him. He said what I was doing is not love, and he said that my family's been being threatened and he might lose his job on Monday. And I told him, again, we could have avoided this had you just told the truth. You just tell the family the truth. We could have handled it privately, but y'all wanted to ignore me. And so he said, he told me that if I took the post down, we could sit down and have a family meeting and talk about the situation. I agreed to it. I said that the only way that I would be open to have a conversation is if you actually tell the truth, not try to manipulate everybody, not try to pretend like something's wrong with me. Actually tell the truth.
And what did he say to that?
He didn't text me back afterwards. He read the message, but he said that he'll have my aunt. When I texted him before, he said he'll have my aunt reach out to me and let me know when it's time for us to have the conversation. But when I told him that I said, if he doesn't tell the truth, I'm going to continue with pressing charges and put my post back up. He just never texted me back.
Have you been contacted with law enforcement or have anybody been?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the detectives to call me. I went and I found a report and I have all the screenshots and stuff. I'm just waiting for the detective.
And is all of that in the city of Little Rock? So, because he lives in Little Rock, so this will be charges from the Little Rock area, correct? Is that where he's lived in Little Rock? He lives in Little Rock?
Yes.
Okay. Let me ask you this, as far as your mental, because I want to kind of talk a little bit about mentally how this has affected you. Have you had any conversation with somebody professionally to talk through your trauma with what has happened to you?
Like a therapist? No.
Yes. Okay. Is that in your
Not
plan?
yet.
Is that in your plan to do any of that?
Yes, one of my family members said that she'll pay for me to get therapy, so I just have to book the session.
How do you feel like what happened to you for those 6 years has affected your adult life? Do you feel like that has affected you now?
Yes.
Okay.
Being around men makes me nervous. I don't trust anybody around my daughter. I barely like letting people watch her or just keeping her for too long.
So you feel like that the uncomfortness, you feel like
Yeah,
every
I'm just,
guy
I'm,
is not worthy of your time, and you have an issue with most guys. Definitely, I could see how it would affect you to the point where you don't want to leave your children unattended to or alone with anybody.
yeah,
How many kids do you have?
just one.
You just have one baby. Okay. How old is she?
6 months.
She's 6 months, so she's a newborn. Okay. Obviously you had a text conversation with your dad. Do you plan on meeting with him and your aunt when the opportunity comes? Are you planning to sit down and have a conversation with them? Do you plan on taking that meeting with them?
Yeah, I do, but I'm kind of hesitant about it, but I am going to
And
go ahead and talk to them about it.
and what you've asked him to do to acknowledge that those event of things has happened, do you want him to acknowledge them just to the family or publicly?
My main concern was just letting my family know. I really didn't care about the public. I didn't want to take it to social media at all, which is why I told them, 3 weeks ago. I wanted to, because I don't want nothing bad to happen to my dad. At the end of the day, that's still my dad. I still love him. For so long, that was my only parent,
Right.
So I don't want nothing bad to happen to him. I just want, to be heard, understood, and let everybody know that the way I've acted is not just because I want to act this way. It's because I've been through a lot of stuff.
Well, as I told you before we started taping and recording this, hats off to you. I think you're very brave. I'm very grateful for you that you were able to tell your story, because there are a lot of people that are so ashamed and so afraid to do it that they never come out with their stories. And before we start taping, I want you to talk about some of the people that have texted you and thanked you for coming out. Before we start taping, you told me about those text messages and calls that you've been getting from other supporters.
Yeah, like I told you, a lot of people, one girl texted me and told me that she asked me for advice because she didn't know how to move forward. Something similar happened like that to her. She didn't know what to do, so she asked me for advice. A lot of people were just saying, oh, I've been through the same thing. I just never had the courage to speak up about it. I'm so proud of you, and you're so brave. I even seen a couple people come out on Facebook and say that they've been through stuff too, and they did it based off of me speaking on what I went through.
Do you know that when this comes out, and maybe when the detective reached back out to you, that it could possibly be formal charges out of that?
Yeah, I didn't want it to be, but that's just how it has to happen.
That's just how it is. Yeah, I get it. And I don't want you, and I'm pretty sure your support staff, which is your kid's father, and is there anybody that's supporting you and your family, that are sticking behind you, that are not thinking what you said is a lie? Is there anybody that you have in your corner as a support staff, as it relates to your family, that are supporting you?
Yeah, it's a lot of people. My boyfriend's family was supporting me and telling me they were proud of me for speaking up. A lot of them was ready to go and find him and do stuff to him. I have a couple friends supporting me, their family supporting me. So I have a good support system for the most part.
We're good. And is there anything else before I stop my recording that you would like to say to the public? You would like to say, if he is listening to this interview, what would you like to tell him? What, if you had an opportunity to say anything to him, since he has you blocked and not communicating with you, what would you like to say to him?
Just that I forgive him. I wish the circumstances were different, but I forgive you. I still love you, even though you hurt me. I still love you. I still wish you the best. I don't want nothing bad to happen to you, and I hope that you can forgive yourself.
Okay.
And to the public, I just want everybody to know that it's okay to speak up, even if people tell you, oh, you're wrong or you're lying or whatever. Don't let nobody make you feel like you're wrong for speaking up. Don't let nobody try to persuade you to take down your story or not talk about it, or speak up anytime something happens.
have you been getting a lot of those posts from random people that were saying that you wasn't telling the truth or that trying to encourage you to take your story down? Or have most
Yes.
of you have been getting a lot?
A whole bunch. I have a couple of family members that called me and told me I was wrong for posting it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this, as I said at the beginning, I'm glad that you were able to, you had the courage and you were brave enough to tell your story, to put it out there. You know, I think more people who are victims of sexual assault should tell their stories. And this is a common problem in the world today. And, you know, we can't get to the bottom of this if people don't speak up. So I'm very appreciative that you told your story, that you had the courage. And when you told your story, did you feel better because people knew you had been living this, holding this okay? How did you feel?
I feel at peace.
Yes, okay. You feel at peace. Because basically you've been holding this for now 8 years. Nobody knew. You've basically been, so once you shared it, there was a sign of peace that came over you, correct?
Yeah, it's like an instant feeling of relief.
Yeah, yeah. Well, my prayers, as I said, thank you for allowing me to share your story on our platform.
No problem.
My prayers are out for you, your baby, your kid's father. I'm so glad that you've got his family supporting you, not turning their back on you, and you have my number. I'm going to air this tonight at 7:00.
Okay.
So obviously your story will go out even further than what it has reached. And so I just want to say thank you for sharing, giving me this last 35 minutes to share your story, and let the podcast know if we could be any assistance to you. If you need proof of this, you want to turn this over to authorities, I will be available to give you this recording of this interview so that you can have detailed about the events that happened. But let me know if the podcast can help you in any way moving forward. And my prayer goes out to you, your baby, and your family.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bria, and thank you for talking with me. And I'm going to end this recording now.
Okay.
Okay, good evening. This is B.
Okay, there you have it. That was the full interview from Bria Davis. I'm pretty sure that you guys have a lot of comments on here. I'm going to open up the request line, 501-650-9726. When we left this off, I think she took down her TikTok post pending a meeting with her aunt and her uncle, okay? They're going to meet, and she said if the meeting does not happen, she's going to put it back up. But if you go to her TikTok page, as of yet, it is taken down pending a meeting with the family. And she said that if you would just be honest and admit to it, then I won't put it back up. But that's where the situation is today as of 1:00. If you want to call the information line, 501-650-9726 and give your thoughts, right? We're going to open the request line. I'm going to do it for about 15 minutes. If you want to talk about what you feel about the case, what you think about her, how you can help, 501-650-9726 if you want to go. I'll read some of these comments pending y'all calling in, and then we'll move on to someone else. I'm going to try to read as many of them as possible. Tristan, you want to read them or you want me to grab them?
Misha Raquel said a meeting for fucking for what? Misha, I kind of agree with you there. I think it has gone too far on social media for a meeting. I think we should just...
Yeah, and I think that she said that the authorities are kind of looking into it and just, I guess they're trying to figure out if they have enough to charge. So they said that they would get back with her.
Yeah, I just think a meeting at this point,
Yeah, Misha Thomas is saying, Keela Misha, okay, she said she was only the parent, she was the only parent she had for a while, I'm assume. Keeman Graham is saying, where does he work? He don't need to be around people, period. Okay, Ray Simone, Nicole Campbell, she doesn't have to love him, but she have to forgiveness. The forgiveness is for her, not him. Okay, it makes the burden, it makes the burden way too lighter. Simone Ross is saying you should call out the family member's name with their sick asses. Becky McGowan is saying, yay, I'm glad you found some peace in this. T. Michelle is saying,
She's tagging Graham, be around so many kids. Adrian is saying, this breaks my heart to hear. I'm praying for her. We're all doing that. Carla Danielle, T. Michelle, heartbreaking because these are my peers.
Keena said, I love you, Bria. Thank you for protecting our siblings.
Yep. Kimber Williams, do she want to post a Cash App or anything? Let's donate and give her some peace of mind, self-pampering day or something. I didn't ask her that, Kimber. I'm assuming she told me that she was going to be watching the playback. If you are watching, Bria, and you want to post your Cash App, I see some people here say that they want to donate something to you. So, Bria, if you are watching, they're saying that to post your Cash App there.
And her page is tagged on this live as well.
Yeah, I think, okay, so we tagged it. Let's see. T. Michelle, Carla, Danielle, baby, when it came out about the Tierra daughter, my heart was broken. I've been knowing him since elementary. Never would have thought that about him, but I believe Tara, daughter. And Janae Thompson is saying, my heart hurts for her. Misha saying, a meeting for fucking what? Shaking my head. Okay.
We have a call.
I got a no caller ID. I don't know what this is. Let me try to answer this, okay? All right, Unpacking the Baggage podcast. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello? Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So I just want to give my condolences.
Can you talk up a little bit, ma'am? We can barely hear you. Talk up on your phone.
I apologize. Yes, I just want to give my condolences to Bria Davis or whatever. Also, I want to talk about Adriana. That's the girl that was also assaulted by him.
What's her name? What's her name again?
Yes, Jasmine. So her mom, Sarah, died or whatever.
Yeah.
She had a lot of, issues going on or whatever. None of the family believed her. Everybody thought she was crazy. She even said that her own dad assaulted her before, which is Edward Fortune or whatever. And I just feel like also a lot of the family needs to be held accountable. The stepmom, the aunties, everybody needs to be held accountable. It's called Stockholm Syndrome. As you can see, Bria is still loving her father. She feel like, helpless. Adriana was the same way as well.
Hey, ma'am, we're having a hard, ma'am, I don't mean to interrupt you, but we're having a hard time hearing you. People are saying speak up. I don't know if you're close to the phone or you got it on speaker, but we can't hear you that well.
Oh, my phone is kind of cracked. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think we can hear you. It's just difficult. But go ahead and finish your comment.
But yes, so Adriana was kind of like stuck in the Stockholm Syndrome too. She ran away from her dad, from her mom, because she was pretty much in love with, what's the guy name again? Darnell Pride. Yeah, she was pretty much in love with him because he'd been fucking on her since she was like so young or whatever. And so she kind of like hated her mom and everything, but Tara fought until pretty much she passed away or whatever due to violence, due to a gunshot, violence or whatever. And I just wish that more people would speak up and the family would, give so much hate towards the little girl or whatever. Tara said her own dad, Edward Horton, sexually assaulted her, and her mom, Dana Horton, which is also a pick-me mom as well. She wanted, she also tried to make like she was lying or whatever, and she, no matter who it was, Sarah tried to make sure that everybody knew who Darnell was and that he was a child molester. And I just hate the fact that since his daughter is saying something, then now people want to speak up and say something.
Okay. Well, thank you for calling for that information. What's your comment? Okay. All right, 501-650-9726, 501-650-9726 if you'd like to call. And we can take about 10 more minutes of your calls. I'll continue to read comments before we go on, and we go to Chris Webb with the news you can use. T. Michelle, I think I've already read that. Let's go down here.
Nicole Campbell has said, I wouldn't meet with them. They're going to gaslight the hell out of her. Okay. T. Michelle is saying they want her to sweep it under the rug. Lakeisha Shelby is saying, I agreed. Nara Avenue is saying, okay, because the damage is done. Okay, Lovely Day is saying, this is so sad. Becky is saying, a meeting for what? Sounds like neither of them is on her side. Misha Hall is saying, baby, you would have to meet them. You would have to meet me. No, you would have to meet me. Hell, but mine. Hell, but mine. Okay, Teardokes is saying, only meeting that needs to be had now is an interrogation by the laws. Kimber Williams has said, anybody who's trying to debate or making options or make options so that she can act like it's nothing is a problem. The family is sick. Misha Hall is saying, ain't no way. Okay, 501-650-9726. If you want to call, we've got about maybe 5 more minutes of comments before we go into our next comment. 50. Here's the other thing that that strikes me a lot in our black community. Why is it, Trisha, and maybe you can answer this, why in our black community we say what happens in our house stays in our house? Why is that? Let me take that call. We're going to go back and answer that question. I'm going to take this call and grab it while they're there. Okay, hold on a second. Unpacking the Baggage Podcast. What's your name and where you calling from?
This Kimber. I just got one quick question.
Yeah, Kimber.
I caught on to the end.
Yeah.
But I do remember before Tara passed, and one thing I remember was I did know that Bria and all his kids stayed with him. And I remember Tara saying something that I think everybody was thinking, which was, if he's doing this to my daughter, if he has ruined my daughter, everything that Carla said was true. You know, her daughter was so in love with him. It was F you, mama, and all that, all that. That was true. But the red flag was there, okay? If he did that to Tara's daughter, he had just one child. I think they were around the same age, both pretty. The red flag was there. And I remember before Tara died, she even said something on Facebook to the mother of Bria. You know what I'm saying? Like a status saying, like, you don't think he doing it to your daughter? So I'm just trying to figure out. The red flags was there before.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
It was definitely there. Because she did, I mean, I remember like it was yesterday. She also made it clear that if everything's going on, you know what I'm saying, with my daughter, if how does this happen? You don't think your daughter know? Well, of course we think she know, because who really got it first? Did your daughter get it first? So I just want to let y'all know, I mean, Tara spoke on everything. The red flag was already there. But we're going to pray for Bria. We're going to pray for Adriana. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Both of them. Hey, and they can post their cash up, y'all. Let's go get them. Let them, both of them. It's just not one. It's
Kim,
still,
yeah, and I agree with that.
different.
I think she might be listening, so I asked her to post a cash app because not only you said, somebody else said something that they wanted to send her a donation. So I don't know if Bria's on here. She
Even
said,
Tara's daughter. Tara's daughter watching.
And I didn't know much about Tara's daughter. I actually inboxed.
Like it was yesterday.
Yeah, I inboxed Are You Hating Her Aunt to try to get some information because I didn't want to talk about Bria's deal and then forget Tara's daughter. Tara was a good friend of the podcast as well.
Yeah,
she was on the podcast 2 times on the episode. So I know Tara. I didn't want to slight her daughter. I just didn't have any information, and I reached out to her aunt, and I didn't get. She didn't respond, so I just didn't have any information. Not any to slight her information.
What the caller said was definitely true. Whoever that was kept it all the way real. That was true. Her daughter did get rebellious against him. I mean, against Tara, was running away to him. All that was true. And then we want to talk about the family members, the popular. Why y'all not on the popular? We all know who bonded him out with Tara's daughter. We all know who paid for his lawyer. But since he's so popular, y'all don't want to talk about him. Oh, he's the good dad and all that. Hey, look, listen to your kids. Hey, I don't care if it's your papa. If he did it, he got to be gone.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Kimber.
Praise to them babies, y'all. Let's tell them babies, look, man, let's get them a day out. I'm pretty sure there's more victims.
Thank you, Kimber.
Okay.
All right, so yes, I started off by saying, black community saying what happens in the house stays and happen in the house. And that's oftentimes how we're able to slide that under that radar, Tristan. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell nobody my business in my house. What goes on in my house stays in my house. And I think that's,
I understand when you're talking about getting whoopings, some things staying in the house. Hell, I tell my kids that. But as it relates to something that's, as prevalent and as important as ruining somebody's mind on sexual assault, it ain't what happens in the house stays in the house. So as I said to her, I think she was very brave in posting that. And I truly, 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 my prayers are with her. I hope that she goes and gets some professional help to help her with a trauma, because obviously she could be dealing with this, forever if she don't get it fixed. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and as I'm gonna go ahead and call the next deal, Chris Webb on the news you can use, and go right along. So let me get Webb on the phone. Let me get her and see if I could call her so we can move it on along. See if I can get old Chris Webb.
Hello.
Chris Webb, how you doing?
Hi.
I've got you live on the podcast. Did you hear the interview with Bria Davis that we just did?
Yes, I heard it.
What do you think about that? What do you think about that?
I'm alarmed, just like everyone else. Like, I am completely heartbroken, and then for her to just be able to muster up the strength to even come and say something so soon, I think is really, really something to be admired, because I know that that was really hard for her to do.
Yeah, and per family, what she said to me today, and she said on interview, the family was when she said something, they was asking or questioning why it took so long to come. You know what I mean? And she didn't feel like, when she said it, that they were taking the right stance or believe in her. But more so that she had gotten in a lot of trouble, and she admitted that, and why it took so long. So I don't know, but so you've got the news you can use. I want to go on to what you have going on this week. Every week, you're going to come on the podcast and talk about the news that you can use that you are doing every week. So what did you have going on this week?
So, this week, the main thing that we really just touched base on was the Bria Davis story this week. That was kind of the thing that had grabbed everybody's attention this week. And then, we pretty much talked about that, so I don't think I have to go over that. It's like beating a dead horse. But That was pretty much the talk of the week. It was a bit jaw-dropping, and so it just took everybody. It took everybody this week. So I think that was the main focus. But we did have a story out of Little Rock. Have you ever heard of Derek Hamilton? He has the Hamilton Farms.
No, I haven't. Tristan, do you know who he is? No, I have not.
Okay, well, he has like a mobile arcade where he'll come wherever you need him to come, and you can have mobile arcade. He has laser tag, and I think they even have like a petting zoo on their grounds. And so I was sent some information Saturday in regards to a complaint that was filed against Ebony Kimbrough because she did not pay him, the last bit of the balance that she owed him. And she ended up saying that the amount that she was not paying was a processing fee. And let's all remember that she wanted him to be at her event. And so he's baffled as to why he has to pay her a processing fee if she's paying him to come to her event.
So he sued her, right? He sued her, and he sued her for what? What is he alleging that she did wrong again? I didn't hear that part.
So she was supposed to be paying for him to come to the Juneteenth festival, and he agreed. He sent her the invoice and everything. I think it was like $11K and all. And I think she was paying it over time, and I think like at the very end she owed like $675, and she is refusing to pay that. She's saying it's a processing fee, and so I think he's really doing it off of just the principle of the matter. I don't think it's about the money, because he's literally suing her for that exact amount. He's not trying to get anything additional off of it. So
if I understand, you're saying he came out there and worked the event. He was supposed to be paid $1,100. She paid him some, but he was owed $600. That's what he's alleging?
He charged her $11,000.
Oh. Okay.
And she paid over time, and then the last remaining balance was $675 that remains to be unpaid.
So damn, she paid him. She paid him $10,400. $10,400.
$10,400.
$10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400. $10,400 Is that what
Right,
he's
but
saying? But she left a balance of $600 is what he's saying, and he want his 600.
675, yeah.
He want his 600.
675.
He want his
Yeah.
paper. He want his cash. He want his Skrilla. He ain't letting you go with just
Well,
600. He want it all.
you gotta understand. A lot of times, like people, it was a lady that actually came forward. She was like a face painter for him, so he actually does like subcontracting, and he brings like other people with him when he does work events like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's almost like he's waiting on his payment so he can pay other people.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
as a result, he's having to pay out of his own pocket. So if you do that like 10 times, 675, that's gonna be what 16K that we
I
that we
heard
just
that.
giving away.
And so you reported on that. Did she reply to your report? Did she reply to it?
I'm not for sure, but I mean, she made like a statement, a blanketed statement, but left it at that. But there was an attack that did come over me as well this
Yeah,
weekend.
let's get into the real tea. Let's talk about
Yeah,
it.
let's get into what you really want to talk about.
Saturday,
Really
all that other shit boring. All that other shit boring. I don't even want that. So Saturday, something comes out that somebody posts. You go ahead and talk about it instead of me. Let me let you tell your own story.
You can get a backstory. You can get a backstory.
So I don't know. All I know. Okay, so what happened is Saturday, somebody posted a page. It turned out to be a fake page, and they post a picture of Chris Webb. And they said that in this picture, somebody was alleging that you had an affair with their 16-year-old son, and you dropped their 16-year-old son off somewhere. Is that what they said? Is that what was? Is that? And I think your crazy ass reported it. You reported your own damn news.
I did.
Your crazy ass reported your own damn news.
I did.
So is that what they
out there? Let's talk about it.
Is that what was said? Is that what was alleged?
That's what was said. Yes, alleged.
Did you make a statement about that? Are you dropping off 16-year-old boys? Is that what's going on?
No, I don't get anyone's kids. I have close friends down here where I live at. I don't pick up anyone's kids. I don't drop off anyone's kids. So that was the first red flag for me. And then I'm like, dropping off a 16-year-old. Baby, I don't be around any people's kids. And then on top of it, if they are 16-year-old, it's going to be a girl because my daughter have 2 girls. So my daughter would have a friend. I'm not picking up no niggas. So it was all wild for me.
So that happens. And then after that happened, we have, our ex-co-host, which was sharing it, right? She started sharing this. She tagged you, wanted you to report it. I think,
I don't even know who that. I don't even know who that is.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I don't know.
Okay. So it happens and within an hour, I think people kind of found out that it really had no legs. It was, somebody just capping, basically trying to get back.
These Facebook detectives was asking too many questions and wasn't getting the answers. Like,
what
I even had the page. I even got the fake page and tagged it onto my page so you can go and click on it. You ain't got to go look for it. It's right there. It's nothing.
I didn't. I have to show it to you. But here's the other thing, which leads me into our second part of this podcast, right? You had the ex-co-host just pushing it out there, right? I mean, everybody pretty much was saying, okay, it's not verified. We see this as bullshit, right? They're calling it out for bullshit. And I think because it was a personal attack on you, let's just kind of be 100. Like, I decided a couple of weeks ago that I wanted to go in another direction, all right? And I'm not the one to go back and forth. Let me just tell you, I had 2 years of just beating and I never said anything with my ex, right? So I'm not the one to go. But at some point in time, it comes to a point when you are playing with things like pedophile She was pushing that out. It's one thing to say Chris is messy, right? It's one thing to say you messy. I'll let that ride, right? But it
Yep.
seems like everybody, it's starting to come and affect people that are being attached to with me, right? Chris, did you do anything to have this, this thing? Because everybody else pretty much called bullshit, right? Everybody else everybody kind of said, Chris, report to this page. So everybody was on your butt, on your ass at first, right? And then everybody was seeing that this was a fake page, but she continued for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours,
Yeah.
6 and 7 hours after it was over with. She continued to push the narrative that you was a pedophile. Now, here's the thing about it. Say what you want to say about me. It is what it is. I signed up for the shit. All right. But when you start to attack people that are attached to me, you have done nothing but come onto this podcast. I gave you an opportunity to talk about the news you can use. You are not the co-host of this podcast. All right, you're not. All right, you have a feature on
I
this
have
podcast.
stressed that so many
Well, and
times.
I
I'm
just
so
need to.
glad
I've
you
never
stressed
said
it
it.
now.
You've said it, and I've just not.
No,
And I've not
we
said
never had a
anything.
conversation about it.
And I've not said anything because I just believe that, when you're a big fish, we don't really talk down, okay? But at this point, when you start sharing information like you're a pedophile, you gay, and all of those are things that you just can't sweep under the rug, right? It's sickening. I don't
Right.
even know why we're talking about that. If I am not the opinion that that I know everything that you do, Chris. I don't know what the hell you're doing. But what I will say is once you find out that it was from a fake page, nobody would respond back to it. Whoever made the page wanted to put this information out about you. And I just think it's when you make false accusations that you're a pedophile, that's what make people like Bria Davis, when she comes to and have a real live situation that happened to her for real, we question Bria. So it's because of things like that. It's because of people pushing these fake, when these abusers talk about these people who are being molested and these people are charged and it has no truth to it, that basically undermine the people that really have been affected by sexual assault, right? Somebody like Bria who's telling her story, she would have, family members and people that are not family members attack her in a question why it took her so long rather than getting behind it, trying to go to the authorities, because I don't believe that everybody that screams sexual assault is true, right? There are some cases that people accuse some people and they're not. But I think that it has to go through the proper channels. I think that the authorities have to decide if it's enough evidence to charge. Obviously, people of the public opinion, you'll have people of the public opinion convicting you before you even get your chance in court. And this subject has nothing to do with Bria Davis. I want to make this very clear. This next topic that we're going to go and we're going to talk about, it's when people accuse people of this horrendous sexual assault and there's no truth to it. This has nothing to do. I don't want people to think that I'm insinuating Bria. That has nothing to do with Bria. I totally understand Bria. I totally get what she's saying. I totally believe Bria. This is a separate problem that is plaguing our community also, because if we're going to talk about the guilty, there's a responsibility to talk about the innocent too, right? And I looked up something, and I want to read this real quick before you get off. I looked up cases where people were wrongfully accused of the sexual assault and how it could mess up your reputation. Obviously, when somebody accuse you of that, when somebody accuse you of a crime like that, it basically ruins you, right? In the public opinion, oftentimes you are supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, but oftentimes you are guilty until proven innocent. And I'm not saying rightfully so, we should not jump to public opinion. I don't want people to take this as I'm taking up for anybody who's been accused of sexual assault. That is not what this is about. This is saying that when you have people that make up these false accusations and, as of yesterday, everybody did that stuff about you, right? And then it just kept on going on, trying to just pull something out of it to make something true.
People are so like, this is what I'm learning about life is that people, I don't even know who she is, but I'm just going off what you're telling me. But
You don't know
I'm
who
just
who
gonna
is.
say
You don't
it
know
like
who
this.
is.
I don't. You saying somebody was talking to me for hours? I don't know who that
Stop it.
is, and
Stop it. You know who
so
that is. Stop it.
I don't
Stop
know
it.
who that
Stop it.
is.
Stop it. You know who it
Don't
is.
know who that
Oh,
is.
you just don't
So
want to say the name,
I'm
but
just
stop
going
it.
off what you're
Stop it.
telling me.
Stop it, Chris Webb. Stop it. Stop it. You're lying. You're lying, Chris
So
Webb. You're
no, this is
lying.
the thing. This is the thing. You give people that are dust, you give them dust. So I'm not acknowledging anybody and making anybody feel like I'm thinking about them or acknowledging any of the foolery and antics they do. They don't do that one monkey show by themselves. But that's dust to me. So what I was just gonna say is that
That's who was calling.
it was
She calling from
very
Korea.
ironic that this even happened to me and we were getting ready to talk about sexual assault. And I was like, this would be a really good time to also show the other side, like real instances when people are wrongfully accused of something with no receipts, no anything. I would never do anybody like that. Anytime I report my news, I always have multiple receipts
Okay.
bagging up where I'm getting my information from. And so for them to just sit there and play with me, it was like the weapon form, but it didn't prosper and it actually turned me up. I got like over 500 followers yesterday. People was DMing me like, damn, baby, you don't need no 16-year-old. Like, they wasn't fucked up
Okay.
about that shit. It was really funny. And so this time it happened in the favor for me, but again, it could be somebody else
It
and
could
it
be,
could just
yeah,
completely
it could
ruin
be
their whole
detrimental to
life.
some other people. Chris, I need to
Yeah.
cut you off. There's something that's happening in the comment that a family member, Tristan, where are we at on that? Where is, did she say, do I need to call her back?
Yeah, Fancy Miller. She said
Okay.
she's in the Caribbean. So
Okay, let me call her back. Okay, Chris, I'm gonna get you off the line. Somebody of the family members trying to call in. Okay, I'm gonna get back
Well,
with
I'll
you.
talk to you guys later.
Thank you, Chris.
Bye.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna call this person back. We missed a call. Somebody that said they're the family member, and I'm gonna give them an opportunity to. Hello.
Please leave your message after the tone.
okay.
Press pound when complete.
All right, comment on her and tell her to call back. I did see her call in and doesn't look like I can call it back. Apparently, Tristan is saying the family member of, are we saying Bria Davis family member, Tristan?
I'm assuming.
Okay. What did she say? Read her comment is what she said. Okay, here she is. Hold on a second. Here she is. Or here he is or whatever. All right, Unpacking the Baggage podcast. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hello.
Yes, hello. Look like they're just like, hello.
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 Good night. Turn it down, Kingston. Go in there.
Ma'am, are you there?
Sorry. I'm here.
Okay. What's your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Ebony.
This is Ebony. Ebony, are you the family member of the dad?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your relationship?
No, my daddy and his mama, sister, and brother.
Okay, so your dad, so you were Bria's cousin, correct?
Yeah, she's my little cousin. I
Okay.
ain't never met her though.
You've never met her. Okay. So what do you have to add to the story? Is there something you want to say?
Yeah, when I was little, they used to hunt on me.
Who was they?
Oh, my cousin.
You said when you
Darnell.
Okay, so when you
I
were
think I was about like. So I'm gonna say it started like from young. So I don't know who introduced that to them. Yeah, because I used to wake up with Tiffany hunching on my foot and shit, and then people didn't want me to come over. They didn't want to come over to my house because they said I used to pinch.
So I'm trying to make sure.
Sorry, I don't mean to.
So no, you're fine. So will you turn your So do you have a phone on in the background that has a feedback? Are you listening to us on two different phones or something?
I don't know. Turn your phone down.
Yeah, turn it down. Okay, so I'm a little confused. I understand that you are the cousin. I'm understanding you.
I am.
Okay, so I'm understanding you to say that there was some contact with you as well.
Yeah, I'm saying. Like it started from young. That's like I don't know.
How old were you?
Young, like 5, 6, 7, around the age.
And how did this happen? And where did this happen?
It started around the age, like 5, 6, 7.
And where did this happen? Where were you? At his house? Where were you?
Just at the family house, when you go around cousins and stuff.
And what exactly what did he do to you?
I don't know. It was just normal, like hunting. He didn't pull nothing out of nothing, but we was kids, so just hunting.
With your clothes on?
I mean, I'm not saying that it's normal, but it was normal to me because I was a kid and I didn't know any better.
So when you say hunching, I'm assuming you're saying with your clothes on, correct? So it's basically
yeah, like that.
Okay.
Clothes on.
Okay.
Hunching.
Okay. And you didn't, and you're saying it was normal to you. You really didn't see anything wrong with that, correct?
No, that was because I was a kid. I didn't know any better.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say yeah, that's when it started.
Okay. So
I didn't know it was going when you get older, you learn that wasn't right.
Right.
And that wasn't normal. So I didn't know that it'll carry over into adulthood.
So are you saying you basically believe Bria? You believe her story? Okay. And you're saying you believe that based on his interaction with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us that happened with him?
I mean, that's pretty much it because like I said, I can go in about the whole family, but
Well, the whole family is not. We're not talking about the whole family right now.
Hey, Ebony, how old are you?
Yeah, so I can just go in because, I'm the black sheep anyway. So I'm just going ahead and speak my piece because I really don't care.
Hey, Ebony, how old are you?
I'm 39.
39.
So this happened when you say you were 7 or 8, so over 30 years ago. This is when it happened. Okay.
Yes.
Did you tell it?
Yes, I remember. I can remember.
And I'm
outside with the sheets hanging on the line. Somebody hunching on me. Somebody hunching on me on my foot. Somebody touching me. I remember all of it.
And so I'm assuming that you didn't say anything because you thought it was pretty normal, correct? So you didn't say anything to.
I thought it was normal.
Okay, so you didn't mention it to any of the parents or anybody that was happening, correct?
No.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to share before I let you go?
That's it.
All right. Thank you for calling and sharing that with us.
I done spoke my piece. Y'all have a blessed night.
Thank you. It looks like people are naming him in here. Who he is and what's going on. So let me go back to this. Yeah, I lost my train of thought. I wanted to get them in because we were on the part where we were talking about. Okay, I got another call. Let me take this other call. Hold on a second. Unpacking the Baggage podcast. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hi, my name is Nicole Campbell. I'm calling from Little Rock.
Hey, Nicole. What's your comment?
Hey, I just wanted to say that I remember, exactly what Kimber said. I remember when Tara and her daughter, Adriana, came out.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of people in the whole city basically went against them, antagonized them. They had very few supporters. And more than anything, it was the black women antagonizing them because they were the gatekeepers for him. They gatekept for him. They supported him and they protected him. And one thing about growing up in the South as a black woman, I've always noticed this. Black women are the gatekeepers for black pedophiles. They're going to gatekeep for them. They're going to protect them, support them, and say sweep it under the rug because we don't want them to go to the penitentiary. We don't want them to go to jail because the white man is go dog them out. So these black men continue to do these things because they know more than anything. First off, they have support from their fellow black men. More than anything, they have support from black women. And that's why they continue to do these things. And that's why they get away with it, because they know black women, old and young, are going to go against the grain against black girls and fellow black women.
Mm. Well, I did, like I said, Kimber called this morning or this afternoon, this evening, and said that, I didn't know anything about that. What was the other young lady name? Adriana? What was her name? You said Tara?
Yes, Adriana.
Adriana.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And I didn't know. I didn't have any information to talk about that. So I didn't know what she
said happened with them? Do you know what was alleged happened between them and him? Was there some, was it?
Yes, everything that Kimber said. From my understanding, now I may be wrong. Somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. From my understanding, I remember when Tara was posting it on Facebook, he was her daughter's godfather, and I believe her and Bria were friends.
Mm-hmm.
So she was typical, issues between mother and daughter growing up in a black household. She may get in trouble, may get a whooping or whatever. Want away from home, she would run to his house, and he took advantage of that baby. He started sleeping with her and molesting her, and she was a little girl. She didn't know any better. She fell in love with him, and so when she fell in love with him, she did go against her mom. But again, she was a little girl. She didn't know any better. She fell in love with him. Like, in her mind, that's her man. She thought that they was going to be together. And he knew that, and he took advantage of that. So when her mom, Tara, got word about it, she pressed charges, came out to Facebook, made it public, everything. And so many women, I'm not even going to refer to them as women, because I look at them like mammies, because they'll do anything and everything to support a black man in their wrongdoing. Even if a black man is as wrong as two left shoes, a lot of times I feel like these black women actually forget that they are women. They think that if I can be the perfect pick me, if I can be the favorite sister, if I can be the favorite aunt, if I can be the favorite homegirl, if favorite niece, that allows me to be picked, and I can be spared. They'll love me, they'll cherish me forever. But it's not like that. Like, black women got to realize you have to stop going against the grain for your own women and girls. And I honestly feel like this is a generational thing. They learn this shit from their grandmothers. They learn this shit from their great grandmothers, because grandma, granny, great granny was the exact same way back in the day. Like, even me, when I was growing up, I can remember being 15 years old, and an older man in my family said to me, my right hand guy said to me, in front of older women in the same room, "Oh, she thinks she got the best pussy in the world." Why would you say that about you're an older man in my family? Why would you say that to me in the presence of older women in the room? Apparently, what I think and what I still think to this day, he wanted me, and he knew that he couldn't have me. So he just couldn't hold it in any longer. And those women, they laughed. They thought it was funny. They overlooked it.
Well,
Yeah.
one last question before I let you go. How old was the Ariana, whatever her name was? How old was Tara's daughter when he started that relationship with her? How old was she? Do you know?
I think she was I believe she was 14.
So she was under 16. And obviously,
Oh,
do
yeah.
you know why the charges were dropped? Because I'm hearing that he was charged with something, but it was dropped.
Yeah, by the time they got to court, she was 18, over 18, and so they end up finding him not guilty and dropped all charges.
Okay.
And
All right.
and when I say the black women of Little Rock supported him, they supported him, they protected him. I wouldn't trust none of them bitches as far as I could throw them, because women like that will help a black man kill you if it comes down to it.
Well, thank you for calling and sharing some information and light that we didn't know on the podcast. Thank you for calling. Okay.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you for taking me.
All right. Are you hating? I don't know if you're out there. You're commenting. I don't know if you could give me a call, 501-650-9726. I want to read April Cuts. April, I didn't forget you. It says, Chris Webb, what happened to you yesterday was wrong, and 6 cents, it was a lie. But in what you signed up to do, you have to be able to handle what you dish. If you deliver news to us before both parties involved speak up, rather we know just one side said is if it's true, you go off what you saw one party post, you have to expect people to do the same about you. Like you didn't with the pastor situation. You didn't produce receipts. You spoke in a negative way. What you said wasn't as destroying as what you said about, I guess you're saying, let me see. You didn't produce receipts. You spoke in a negative way. What you said wasn't as destroying as what you had said about you. I guess she was trying to say what they said about you. But it was destroying as
you are saying that this could be destroying to you. So I guess what she's saying is, would you reap what you sow? You signed up with that, Chris. I wanted to make sure I read her. Are You Hating is saying he deleted all of the messages, but FBI got involved and retrieved all of the message. That's how we got them. And that's how he was charged, along with my niece giving a recorded statement. So Are You Hating is the niece of Ariana on there. Certain people are agreeing. Certain people are saying, whoo, they can't believe it. Are You Hating? I don't know if you're available. I think you said you were at dinner and couldn't talk. But if you are available, if somebody can tag her, 501-650-9726. I'd like to talk to you. I inboxed you. I don't know if you ever saw my inbox, but if you can hear my voice, if you'll give me a call at the under request line, I'd really appreciate it. Alicia Allman is saying he was sleeping with Tara first. Wait, let me read this right. He was sleeping with Tara first. Whole time Negro's been seeking out your daughter. Oh, Alicia, damn, is that true? Becky is saying she got at Alicia, he slept with the mama and the daughter. Are You Hating is saying, but half of y'all motherfuckers didn't believe us. So I don't care. I don't know why it's such a shock now that it's his daughter came out. That's what Are You Hating is saying. I guess she didn't believe that nobody believed her niece. But you guys are surprised when it hit home with his daughter. Alicia's saying, Becky, yes, Tara told me everything, offering T.I. keep the kids while she worked, etc. Whole time grooming her daughter. Yeah, so Are You Hating is also saying, but my sister not here to speak, so I'm behind her and my niece. And anyone who don't like it, fuck you. In the most disrespectful way. How can you say fuck you? And how can fuck you be in a disrespectful way, Trisha? I don't know. But anyway, she's saying that. I want to make sure I get out to Are You Hating deal. Ed Durham is saying, hoe ass nigga, plain and simple. I see you, Petey. I see you, boss. Nicole Campbell is saying, thank you so much. It was me. Are You Hating? If it wasn't for the laws, I would upload his testimony and let y'all tell me if he was guilty. So I'm assuming that Are You Hating, though, has some testimony. And she's saying if it wasn't for the law, she would upload it and let y'all see it. Cabela Booker is saying Tara was unalived by the time the trial started. Dree basically was like she didn't recall when she was called out on the stand, which threw the case out. So I guess they had nobody to say that it happened. Tamika Bennett is asking, are you hating, though? Isn't it public record? So are you hating? Is it public record? Somebody is asking that. She's replying and saying, no, the case wasn't thrown out because the jury didn't know the law. So they found him guilty, but changed it to not guilty. I don't understand that. See, that's why Are You Hating? You know, that's kind of confusing. You're saying that they found him guilty, but then they changed it to.
Ask her, can she call in?
Yeah, Are You Hating? I don't. You know, you're commenting here. I don't know if it's confusing. I'd like to clear up some things. 501-650-9726. Are You Hating is also saying, and anyone who still has their child on that cheer team where he be in the gym with these girls need to be jailed too. So I'm assuming now she's putting some more information that he's involved with a cheer team. I don't know what that is. Are You Hating is also saying he never played stepdaddy. Please stop assuming and just ask. All right, so yeah, it's a lot going on with this situation, and it looks like that this been going on for a long time, Tristan. I mean, this, obviously, I think I heard rumors of this when it first started. But Bria coming out kind of made everything kind of resurface. It kind of made everything that was old come back up. And so I don't know what's going to become out of that. I asked her, had she been contacted by law officials, and she said that the detective is waiting to get back with her. And I don't know what that means. I don't know if they're going to charge him. I don't know if they have enough evidence. I'd also like to know if there's an attorney on the line. I'd like to know, what does a prosecutor consist of when they decide if they're going to charge him?
Like, what, I mean, obviously, it's her word against the accuser word. So what evidence do they look for to decide if they're going to move forward with sexual assault charges, rape charges? What does the prosecutor look for? Can anybody shed any light on what they look for to justify if he's eligible for charge? Do they basically look at it and say, do we have enough evidence to convict? And if they have enough evidence to convict, that's when we charge them. But what mechanism?
Are you Hayden said that he messed with my sister when we was in high school, not in their adult life.
Okay, so she's clearing that up. Somebody said he messed with the sister first, and she's saying that they dated when they were in high school. And even if they dated when they were in high school, that doesn't give him the right to mess with the child. So, I don't know what that person was trying to insinuate there, but if there was a situation where the Tiara dated him, it didn't matter if it was in high school or then. That still didn't give, if that's true, that still didn't give him a reason to go and mess with the daughter. And obviously, if the daughter was 14 or 13 or wherever they said, then obviously it's statutory rape. So she cannot make that decision on her own to enter in a relationship when you're under 16. So it doesn't matter if she is in love. I think somebody has said she was in love. She was liking him. If she's underage, she doesn't have the age responsibility and the capability to make that judgment and to be able to say that she wants to be with him. So that shouldn't have stopped charges. That shouldn't have stopped the conviction. I'm curious to know what made the charges be dropped. That's what I'm not connecting the dot with, right? I'm understanding that I've heard somebody said that the young lady was at some party supporting him, I guess, because she started liking him. So, did that play a part? Did the daughter's testimony play a part in the charges being dropped? There's so many avenues that you can go down that we don't have the answers to, right? And so that's why I was trying to get someone that has the answer, somebody that attended the trial. Obviously, we're probably not going to get those answers. But I would have liked to know, Tristan, why those charges were dropped. That's baffling important to me. You know what I mean? Even if she started liking him, she was underage.
I think they were saying it in the comments. They were saying something about the Tara, something she didn't go on the stand or something like that. Seen it briefly in the comments.
Are you hating it saying, when my niece asked how they start doing what they was doing, he said that blue outfit did it with her dance outfit she had on when her and his daughter danced. So I guess she had on a skin tight outfit for the dance team, and that's how apparently that he started being attracted to her. I just like to know why, and I guess I'm not going to get that answer today. I'm just not going to know it. I'm not going to be able to connect the dots. As I started at the beginning, shout out to Bria. Shout out to I can't understand. I need her name. Adriana or Ariana. Shout out to Are You Hating Though niece, okay? She apparently she went through some of the same thing, right? So my prayers are, I know that she is dealing with some of the same things. She didn't get as much clout as Bria is getting. But shout out to her as well. Shout out to her for being brave to tell her mom, to tell her aunt, to tell her story as well. I don't want to leave her out. The reason why I didn't say anything about her is just because I didn't know about her, right?
Shabella says she has some information.
Shabella?
Yeah, she said she's trying to call in.
Okay. Shabella, my phone line is not ringing. 501-650-9726. If you got some information, if you got some tea, 501-650-9726. I'll give you a minute to call. You're saying in the comments that you know what happened. And if you can, shed some light on it, then let me know. If not, then we'll go ahead and, okay, this might be her. Hold on a second. Unpacking the Baggage Podcast. What's your name and where you calling from?
This is Bella. I'm from Little Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And I was calling, I was trying to message to come in on how or whatever happened with Cal. Tara's daughter, she never was the one that outed him. He did anything to her.
Mm-hmm.
Tara, her mother, was the one that found the messages and everything like that, and she would get on live every day, saying out there exposing him. He did A, B, and C. She had receipts. She went and pressed charges. She did due diligence every day, nonstop. She wasn't even in a good place because this put her and her daughter at odds because she thought she was in love with this man, even though she was only 13. It started at 13 until probably 17 or whatever. But she was at odds or whatever. But Tara, as a mother, as a black mother, we're gonna do what we got to do to protect ours. So she pressed charges and everything. But by the time it went to trial, Tara had got killed. So it went to trial. And of course, like everybody said, the whole city was against them and was saying it didn't happen, it didn't happen. Even Bria, she was right there standing beside her daddy. Now all of a sudden she knew what was happening to her at the same time when it came out about the girl. So she knew there had to be some truth because she was living the same stuff. But she stood by him saying it wasn't happening and he wasn't doing A, B, and C. But by the trial, I think that Dree knew she didn't have nobody really standing with her. Like, I don't know, she maybe had her grandmother and stuff like that. But as far as to deal with that, she was just like, when you get asked questions, saying, and you be like, I can't recall. So you didn't have no evidence. Sarah was the main, witness thing and had all of her stuff, but she wasn't there to present it. So that's why he didn't get sentenced. Okay. I can't say he got found not guilty, but that's why.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that information. It makes a lot of sense now.
It does.
Man.
Okay.
All
right. So y'all heard it. Now it's connecting the dots of how that happened. That was, this is like I said, I didn't know anything about it. Didn't know, what happened, but now it's connecting dots where it makes sense now. Okay. So listen, I think this was, obviously there are, victims that are going through this every day. So my prayers goes out to not only the two young ladies that we talked about tonight, anyone who is going through this and has experienced this, I would say that you do need to talk about it. I do not agree with what happens in your house stays in your house. If you went through this, you need to say something to someone, okay? Someone in your family, someone, the authorities. You need to say something. Don't feel like you're not going to be heard. Don't feel like you're not going to be believed. That's what it's designed to do, to make you question if people are going to agree with you or thinking that you too fast or that you brought it on yourself. I would say to you that you need, the first thing is to talk about it, right? There are several women that have went through this that have never said anything about sexual assault, right? This is ruining our women, not only our black women, but all of our women. This is ruining them. So I would say the first step is to say something. For those of you who have went through this and you're dealing with it and have not went and got professional help to work through your trauma, go and do that. You never know how this is going to show up in future relationships, and other situationships. You don't know how this is going to affect you. So the first thing is to speak up. Second thing, if you go through it, you need to get some professional help to deal with your trauma, okay? I'm going to leave this on our YouTube page at Brian Stewart Sr. If you want to go back and refer to this episode. This was a great episode. Prayers goes to, and I always mess her name up, Are You Hating Niece? I don't know her name. And prayer goes out to Bria Davis, okay? Is there anything else, Tristan, that you need to say before we get out of here? Okay. If you want to be a sponsor of this podcast, okay, we need sponsors. Inbox me or inbox the UTB podcast. U as in umbrella, T as in Tom, B as in boy. Podcast, and that stands for Unpacking the Baggage. Okay, if you want to be a sponsor on this podcast, we have an affordable package where you can sponsor this podcast by inboxing either the Facebook page or inboxing myself. As always, we try to be responsible. We try to bring you great content. We try to be in the forefront of breaking and trending news. So from the Unpacking the Baggage podcast, we're signing off, and we will see you next Sunday. Same bad time, same bad channel. Good night.
Good night, y'all.